So again, thanks for coming. So this is our corporate presentation for Amex Expiration. It's really a high grade story. It all started. It's 22 years that this project is actually in the company, and as you can tell, that really nice pictures over there. It was back. That was one of their first releases. Was back in December of 2018. So these are your forward-looking statements. So this is one of the advantages that we have with Amex. Corporate structure is very good. You're looking at 57 million shares out. On a fully diluted basis, you're at 70 million shares. We still have about $3 million cash on hand. Just recently we announced a private placement, which is being done. So there's two prices really. This is being done at $1.80. It's in Quebec we have a tax scheme. It's a charity, what they call a charity flow through. But the back end is a real price, so the price is being done at $1. So we announced a bought deal being done at $1 per share, and it comes with a half a warrant at $1.15. Major shareholders is Eric Sprott. After this placement, he's going to be at 14.2%. Commodity capital is going to be around the 8.5 to 9%, and management is at around 11% still. Myself, I've been with Nemaska Lithium, still am. That project was mine, the Whabouchi deposit. I staked it back in 2007, sold it to Nemaska in 2009, and that company has gone from zero basically to almost $1 billion market cap. Recently, it's trading in the $200 million range. Jacques Trottier is the chairman of the board. He's really the person behind this. He was the person who actually put this project into the company. It's been in the company since 1997. He was the one who also went to Peru in Soledad Mines. He discovered the Shahuindo mine. He basically bought it for $10,000. It's been recently sold for approximately $600 million. All our other directors have had Martin Nicolette. He's a CFO that he works on several companies. Pierre Carré has had many successes on different companies. Kelly Malcolm, we were able to get him to come work with us. He was at Detour Gold. He was one of the persons responsible for the 58 North gold deposit. We've really had a lot of success since he's joined us, and the other two directors are independent directors. Now, what's the story about? It's really location where we are is incredible. We're in Quebec. There's highways that lead up to the project. We're right near the Ontario-Quebec border. We're lucky to be on the Quebec side because we don't have any First Nations issues on the Quebec side. If you look around there, so you're in the prolific Abitibi Greenstone Belt. Most of the gold it's only in gold production, it's second to none to South Africa. When you look at all the other producers around the area, these are all within 1 hour. The major ones are all within 1 hour. You've got the Holt Holloway mine from Kirkland Lake, it's about an hour away. The Westwood mine, it's about an hour away. The reason I mentioned those is because both those facilities actually need ore as they're operating at very low rates right now, and we're just nearby. So when it comes to location, you can't have a better location than that. Just recently in August, we had an analyst tour. We were able to get them in and out on the same day. You've got highways that lead to the property. You've got highways and roads that lead right to the property. You've got electricity, you've got water. So when it comes to jurisdiction and location, you can't get better than that. Now the regional geology, if you look at where the yellow is, it's really along the rhyolite package, and we are alone. And size-wise, there is a large size to this. I'll show you some. So you're on what you call the Shakobee deformation zone. And when you get to the next one, so most of the gold's all been found inside that yellow wedge, which is it's a sodic rhyolite in there. So the top fault, you're looking around 8.5 kilometers. The bottom fault is a little over 7 kilometers. We have four new gold zones that we've discovered now. How big is that? How many ounces? Don't know. We're definitely looking at this into it's going to be a multi-million ounce deposit. What this graph here shows, what this picture shows here is when you look at from the Muscat to Laron mines, you look at all these mines, you've got about every kilometer and a half, same kind of angle. They all look like they're in a 70-degree angle, and that's basically the size. That's basically the size of our bottom fault. So we actually believe that that's where we're going to end up finding multiple mines along this structure. When you look at some of those grades are really spectacular. The Gray Cat zone is a different type of zone. It's mostly disseminated gold, lower grade. Our Eastern Gold Zone, we're going to go through individual numbers as we go along here. So we're going to go through every zone. This is a map that was showing the drilling as it went through. This would be really more on a geological side, and this is the Eastern Gold Zone. It's a bonanza gold discovery. When you look at some of those grades there, like one of the most spectacular grades, which I think is one of the top drill holes discovered this year, 393 grams over 1.7 meters. But the nice thing, it's not one chunk. It's not one chunk that's really driving this thing. It's when you look at it, it's really we cut up those 1.7 meters into parts, and you can tell they're on 0.55. You're looking over 200 grams. You're looking at 677 grams. And you're looking over 300 grams. This is all consecutive. It's the entire 1.7 piece. The reason we did it that way is that we wanted to show the continuity of this. So that thin strip is really the high grade zone. What's really interesting is on the gold structure that you see on the left side. It's a low grade zone. When you look at it from the top, it wasn't that spectacular at the beginning, 1 gram per ton. And as you keep coming lower, that's when the grades really started to turn spectacular. When you're looking at 6.99, I can't see the number. 32 meters. It's quite spectacular. So that's where you're going to build up the tonnage. Really quickly. This is a cross section. This is a cross section of the high grade zone. That's that thin strip. I mean, when you look at it's not that we discovered one area and we just stayed on that one area. If it's gold, you've got high grade hits. All along there, well over 300 meters. We've discovered gold now all the way down to 400 meters with the high grade hits, and it's gotten bigger along strike at 130 meters. So again, this is that high grade hit that we had where you had the 393 grams over 1.7 meters, and you look at the distribution of the gold, and that's important because when you're looking at the cutoff rate. One day when you're going to get a resource, that's really important because that's going to help your cutoff rate be a lot higher. This is the Digression gold zone. So that zone was discovered in the late 90s. Our geological team did a reinterpretation of the historical zone. We identified that there is really a high grade component to that, and after drilling again, we started hitting visible gold, and we got some really interesting, very good high grade results out of this. So when you look at this, 67 grams per ton over 1.45 meters, 16.77 on 4.25, 27.46 grams per ton over 4.9 meters. Really high grade. And when you look at that PEG 1968, when you look at the distribution of the gold, again, it's very impressive as it just continues along. The gold is well distributed. This is where we think we're gonna get a really high cutoff on the grade when we end up doing our resource. This is a cross section of the Gratien zone. It's hiding. The gold is right behind the gabbro. Our team ended up discovering that, and that's where we're getting really good widths and very high grade. Our drilling methodology has really changed, and they've really been getting really good grades. Again, these are some of those grades. 34 meters of 1.89. And this is almost at surface when you look at how low it is really at surface. Some really good grades there on the Gray Cat zone. This was discovered in August. This is a new longitudinal that we have on the Gray Cat zone. Numbers again, the numbers are really impressive, and this is really great again that we're looking at. So now where's the where's the uprise? Where are you going to get the big lift? Well, when you look at the bottom there, where you see those little gray, those little purple areas, well, three of them are the ones that we're currently drilling. Well, when you look at the geophysical map, we've got another 5 different purple zones that we're discovering, and that's where we expect to continue getting this type of success. So basically, we're going to be doing regional exploration to discover those new areas, along with defining the four known zones that we already have. And to finish, so we own the property 100%. You're in Quebec. There's no First Nations issues. You have more than 10 kilometers on strike. It's an unexplored Abitibi greenstone belt. We're basically by ourselves on that entire belt, with gold deposits all over within 1 hour away from us. Regional geology. We're going to be drilling all these deposits where we think there's going to be multiple ore deposits, and it's an orogenic gold and gold-rich polymetallic. There are VMS systems on the property, and we're also going to be exploring those, but we're really going to be concentrating on the gold. Our maiden NI 43-101 for resource, we're probably going to expect that sometime later in the year. We are fully funded for our 2020 mining campaign. We're going to be doing a little over 50,000 meters for 2020, which is fully funded. So tight capital structure, well capitalized, and our largest shareholder is Eric Sprott, along with Commodity Capital, and that's the story.